Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling murk of sun-split clouds and done 100 things. I've wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence, hovering there, I've chased the shouting winds aloft and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. The higher we fly, the farther we go, the closer we are to each other. The darker the night, the brighter the star. In peace go my sisters and brothers. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind I trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touch the face of God. The higher we fly, the farther we go, the closer we are to each other. The darker the night, the brighter the star. In peace go my sisters and brothers.
There was a day in 2011 when I'm told I was the highest person on Earth. Literally. On that day, I traveled to the space equivalent altitude of 70,000 feet.
Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
It was a voyage to the edge of infinity. For a few minutes that I will remember for the rest of my life, I stared through the frost formed on the canopy of our aircraft as deeply as I could into forever. I'm Gary Sinise, and this was my high flight.
Thank you so much.
There will be a time on Wednesday when you're the highest person on Earth.
Congratulations on that. Yeah. You got it. That'll be good for the wall. How are you? I'm Gary. Thank you.
Over the years, I've been blessed with many opportunities to visit our servicemen and women in the distant and often dangerous places where they live and work. In 2010, through a friend of mine who worked for the USO, I was invited to take a flight on the legendary U-2 spy plane. As enthusiastic as I was, I didn't fully realize all that a U-2 flight involved. By the time I boarded an airliner to return home, I would have met a group of people and flown to a place I would carry with me for the rest of my life. Beale is an 86,000-acre base that was opened in October of 1942 as an Army training site for armored and infantry divisions. It also served as a prisoner of war encampment during World War II. It transferred to the Air Force in 1948. The 9th Reconnaissance Wing is a highly specialized group of more than 3,000 personnel in 4 groups: the 9th Mission Support Group, the 9th Medical Group, the 9th Maintenance Group, and the 9th Operations Group. And Beale is headquarters for our U-2 program. The U-2 Dragon Lady is one of the most amazing defense systems ever developed by the United States. She is a baby boomer. She was born in the 1950s when we began to realize just how little we knew about the newly emerging superpower, the Soviet Union. Once the USSR became a nuclear power, it became a matter of national security that we find a way to carry out reconnaissance over her. Doing that meant flying at an altitude higher than any defensive aircraft or surface-to-air missile could reach. That meant flying to a height considered the very definition of space. Design of such a watershed airplane became a priority of the legendary Kelly Johnson at Lockheed Martin's Advanced Development Programs, better known as the Skunk Works. Johnson was an aeronautical genius who developed over 40 aircraft, including the P-38 Lightning, the P-80 Shooting Star, the F-104 Starfighter, and the SR-71 Blackbird.
The U-2 program, like many successful military programs, began in the political environment. So after World War II ended, obviously political tension develops between the Soviet Union and the United States. There was very little known about the interior of the Soviet Union. So in 1953 to 54, the United States secretly ballots a program to produce an airplane that can fly above the suspected ranges of surface-to-air missiles at that time. And Clarence Kelly Johnson and his Skunk Works come out, and he says, I can take an F-104 Starfighter. I can take that fuselage, and I can take the wings off, and I can marry it to extremely efficient glider wings, high aspect ratio wings, long, thin wings that are extremely efficient up high. Their target altitude was 66,000 feet. So the first U-2 flies in 1955, and in 1956, we employed it operationally for the first time for the overflight mission of the interior of the Soviet Union. May 1st, 1960, when Gary Powers was shot down, did 2 things. One, it exposed the U-2 program. Khrushchev made it so. And the second thing it did, even in that particular airplane's demise, was confirm for us that the Soviets did in fact have missiles that could reach that high. And really through the ingenuity of its engineers, its pilots, we've taken this Cold War system and morphed how we employ it so that it becomes relevant and effective at pretty much all levels of war.
In the over 50 years of the U-2 Dragon Lady's existence, barely 1,000 pilots have ever flown her.
So this wall is all of our solo wall. Every pilot that has soloed the jet, been alone and unafraid in the U-2 has his name and his solo number up on a plaque.
On another wall in Beale's Officers Club are the portraits of those who have lost their lives while serving in the U-2 program. This is truly sanctified ground. I was starting to understand what a rare opportunity I was being given. The chance to join the High Flyers Club, to go to the top of the Dragon Ladies ride, 70,000 feet. That's twice as high as any commercial airliner flies. It's 40,000 feet higher than Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain. If it all goes well, for a few incomparable minutes, I will be the highest human on the planet.
There you go, bud. Thank you for serving. Thank you. Squeeze in.
After all these years of traveling in support of our troops, it is likely that I've been on more military bases than many of those who actually serve in the armed forces. I'm impressed with every visit. Our bases are special places, islands of efficiency, productivity, orderliness, and civility. They are places that stick with you, that inspire you to do a little better and be a little better when you return to your own neighborhood. It was a great welcome to Beale. The first steps you take to get to 70,000 feet are toward the flight surgeon's office. This whole adventure can end right here.
So for a high flight or high altitude flight, things we look for include one, making sure that they'll fit into the ejection seat and can safely eject. So it's unique to each airframe, has different parameters, and so we just got to make sure that they're kind of meeting the standards for that, and that's the first thing we look at. Second one relates a lot to decompression sickness, the idea of kind of going from a high pressure situation up to a low pressure area. When that happens, we have gases in our body that will kind of off gas into our bloodstream, much like opening a bottle of Coca-Cola or product like that, where you can then get a bunch of bubbles that pop out. And as a result of that, it can lead to some problems that we would have to later use a hyperbaric treatment or a hyperbaric chamber to treat. And things we also want to look at is because gas expands, if there's ear or sinus issues going on or they can't clear those areas, or if they have dental pain, dental pressures, again, that gas in those areas can expand and create a lot of problems. So we wouldn't want them to fly if we had those issues in the mix.
It's all good?
Yep.
To be honest, I do have a few problems with my ears and sinus, and I have never been to 70,000 feet before. I'm anxious to go, but I'm also a little apprehensive.
Mr. Sinise, this is your 1042. It's your clearance to fly. Go up to altitude and get on the plane.
Great. I'm good to go.
You're good to go, sir. Have a nice flight.
Great. Thank you.
70,000 feet is a hostile environment for human beings. At that altitude, a catastrophic loss of pressure will cause your bodily fluids to begin to boil within seconds. So, there are some things you have to know and do before the Air Force takes you to the edge of space. Jay Ford will be the pilot for our mission. Confident, measured, calm, prepared, irreverent, funny.
Ejection, so our controlled ejection altitude, we want to be at least 2,000 feet above the ground. If for some reason the airplane goes out of control today, we want to eject immediately. We don't want to wait. No, but I'll let you know if that happens. So,
Please do.
yes. Physiological incident, so if at any time during the flight you're feeling bad or funny, or you just have any questions about, hey, why do I feel this way, ask, let me know. So, bad news does not get better with age, and especially if it's, bubbles in your brain and spinal column. So we can do a little bit to fix those. So let me know, and if you're having any sort of GI problems, let that gas out as it's starting to build up. Don't hold it in, and keep holding it and keep holding it, and then things can get messy. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, guys.
Jump on in.
You want me in this one? All right.
I mean, everybody that comes out here is already, they're already a good pilot. So it's just a matter
You
of
like being
training.
alone.
I do.
Because
Oh,
you're up there by yourself for how long? Could be
12
10
plus hours. Yeah.
12 plus hours just flying.
So you get used to it to a certain extent, but yeah, it is hard on the body. So, but the altitude that you're at, that will be in the airplane is about 28 to 29,000 feet. So if you think about it, you're sitting on top of Mount Everest for,
Right.
you land and you feel like you got run over by a truck sometimes. So and then
Is that one gonna?
Yep, he's going
That
out.
one leaving?
Yes, sir.